इस धरती पर कभी न होगा अनुज भरत सा कोई, जो 14 वर्षों तक अपने राम की खातिर रोए। ऐसे सब भाई भाई के जुड़े हो मन के तार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। राम भरत की गाथा होगी जब तक है संसार, अमर है राम। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। Together we chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verses 11 to 20.
अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुम् मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम् ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्। श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानम् विशिष्यते। ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्। अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च। निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी। सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः। मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। स्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदम् यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्दधाना मत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः
In the 18th verse, we spoke about how the bhakta is equal towards all fluctuations of the external and internal world, whether it's friend and foe, or heat and cold, joy, sorrow, honor, dishonor. These are the 4 types of pairs of opposites that we face at the material level. Means external to us, there are friends and foes, there are pairs of opposites outside. You can say profit and loss, whatever, everything that you meet outside. Then there are things that affect our body, such as heat and cold, like my body feels hot, my body feels cold, or my mind feels joy and sorrow, or my intellect experiences honor and dishonor. Honor and dishonor are related to the intellect because it's a very, people can take anything but any sort of assessment against them. One is I like you and I don't like you. So if I don't like you, there's a certain amount of unhappiness with that. But if I don't respect you, then that's a lot more, because that respect is a faculty of the intellect that, okay, I think you're somebody worthy. So honor and dishonor is to do with more to do with the intellect. So, some people say, I don't care whether you like me or not, but you damn well respect me, because that's, that's the higher one. It's the intellect making an assessment whether you're a worthy person or not a worthy person. So now in life, some people will decide that you are worthy. Some people will decide you are not worthy. Sometimes your mind will go through joy and sorrow. Sometimes your body will go through heat and cold. And sometimes you meet people conducive to you, and sometimes you don't meet people conducive to you. These are the fluctuations that happen at the 4 levels: material, physical, emotional, and intellectual. Now, who is a bhakta? A bhakta is one who's alike to both. Now, alike to both sounds very stupid to us. How can you be alike? One man is insulting you, one man is praising you, you'll be alike to them. One man is punching you, one man is garlanding you, you'll be alike to them. How is that even possible? So obviously, it's not talking about actions He's talking about affectation. He's not dealing with what you should be doing. He's dealing with what are you feeling while all this is on. Please note the difference between this. Otherwise, we tend to become quite funny in our reactions, both literally and figuratively. Somebody is coming to punch you, you don't say, I feel for you, exactly the same. Please get out of the way. If you know boxing, you can punch him back, or minimum you get out of the way. If someone's coming to garland you, you don't have to escape like that, and you don't have to garland him back. But what is he talking about is an affectation. To be affected by whether a person thinks you should be punched or whether a person thinks you should be garlanded. It's you get affected by it. The bhakta doesn't get affected by it. Why not? Why does he not get affected?
Because everyone is the sign of the Lord for me.
Okay. Basically because his thoughts are elsewhere. His thoughts are on the Lord. So, you know, there's this famous story in the Ramayana. After the war was over, then everybody who had participated in the war were given gifts. And, you know, normally the booty of the war is shared amongst the people. And so the kings were handing out the gifts. And so Hanuman was given a very, very expensive necklace. Imagine how much work he had done, right? So he was given a necklace like worthy of that kind of a hero. Very, very expensive necklace. And then the story goes, Hanuman put it to his ear, the necklace. And the necklace didn't say Ram Ram, so he chucked it. If it doesn't say Ram Ram, what have I got to do with this? So whether someone praises you or dishonors you, whether you're feeling, whether some joyous thing has happened or unhappy thing has happened, whether the body is going through whatever fluctuations, health, ill health, whatever fluctuations it's going through, you only relate to those things which relate to the ideal, to the Lord. If your mind is on the Lord, your only question is, has it got anything to do with the Lord? If so, I transact. If not, I don't. And therefore, it really doesn't matter what is going on. It just gives you a yardstick, you know. Okay, somebody said something bad about me. Is this stopping me, my Lord, from loving me? No. Somebody said something good about me. Is this making my Lord love me more? No. So what have I got to do with any of this? So your yardstick is always the Lord. Is the Lord in this person? Yes. So I will love him. So everything you sort of look at from that perspective. Okay, so why is he unaffected? It's not that he doesn't feel hot and cold. How is that even possible? It's not that he behaves the same way no matter what happens. How is that possible? What it's talking about is an attitudinal change, that he is focused on his Lord. Everything else is immaterial. Mukesh Pacharya, you had a question?
Hello, good morning, Kankiji. Going back to your point about initially, you mentioned the pairs of opposite, and you mentioned the intellect is, if someone says doesn't respect you or disrespects you, is to do with the intellect. But surely you get there's a fluctuation in your mind. You're thinking, well, you get annoyed, agitated, depending whether they're saying respect or disrespect. But you're saying it's more related to intellect. So I'm not sure on that point. Because
respect or disrespect is a pair of opposite which affects us at the intellectual level. Because
that's what I didn't understand. I thought it was the mind which you get all annoyed or happy.
That's correct. The mind is affected at all times. But okay, this is a common thing, a common confusion that arises. When we talk of the levels of the personality, we're talking about those types of desires. Material desires, physical desires, emotional desires, intellectual desires. Okay? But all desires are
Mind-driven.
mind. But the mind desires itself can be at the material level, physical level, emotional level, intellectual level. But all desires are of the mind. Every time you're agitated, it's the mind.
Mind, yeah.
Yeah. So that is common to all of them.
So the intellect should kick in. Well, if you've got, is that what you're saying, that your intellect plays the mind is driven by the intellect, whether it's driven or not driven by the intellect?
Yeah. Will determine the agitations. But the agitations can come from any type of desire. It could come from material desires or physical or emotional or intellectual. In all cases, it is the mind that is affected by it, agitated by it. In all cases, when the intellect stands as a bulwark against it, you're fine.
Thank you.
Okay, so is it clear how he is unaffected? Because his only thought is on the self. That's all he's concerned with. Okay, so if something helps him go to the self, helps him reach the Lord of his heart, then he will interact with that thing. If it doesn't help him do that, he is least bothered to whatever is going on. He is like, na lena na dena. Momita. Why is Jay, I'll just come to you. Momita has a question. Why is Hanuman the Bhakta worshipped? What do you mean? Why are you suggesting a Bhakta should not be worshipped? Why are you saying Hanuman the Bhakta worshipped? Radha the Bhakta is worshipped. Ramatirtha the Jnani is worshipped. Mahatma Gandhi the Karma Yogi is worshipped. I mean, anyone doing noble things will be worshipped. It's normal.
No, but we don't really worship Gandhiji or the saints. I mean, we don't put up idols of them and worship them in the way we worship Hanuman. I mean,
Give it another couple of centuries. Imagine how old. Mahatma Gandhi already has come.
No, but Hanuman is like a figure, like a allegorical figure of the Bhakta. But he's a Bhakta, not God. And yet we idolize him. I mean, even the Hanuman Chalisa is known throughout the country and chanted. So instead of praying directly to God, we are actually praying to the Bhakta. So that is my query.
You know what is Kabira's Doha? Guru Gobind dono khade, kaake lage paun. Balihari Guru apne, jin Govind diyo milay. Means Guru and God are standing in front of me. Who should I worship? So Kabira's response is, I should worship the Guru, because the Guru enabled me to meet God. So why is Radha worshipped? Why is Hanuman worshipped? They are not considered to be gods in the sense of Krishna or Rama. They are worshipped because they are the path. And as far as we are concerned, we are more concerned with that. We have to learn from Hanuman. Mahesh, Hanuman is considered an incarnation of Shiva. Okay, all this is mythological. They all have allegorical. You can't take it as an answer to the question. Mamita's question is, why is a Bhakta worshipped instead of worshipping the Lord? Because we have to emulate the Bhakta. We have to do, he's supposed to be the greatest Bhakta, right? So that's what we have to be. Our bhakti should be like Hanuman in that sense. So that's what we are worshipping. That is what worship means, what? Pursue, right? This is what we are pursuing. This is the ideal of bhaktihood, if I can use such a word, that we are pursuing. That's what. Or
Okay.
why do you worship your teacher? Same reason. Because these are all the paths.
Right. Okay. But Radha is worshipped differently in the sense that she is considered the love of Krishna.
Mhm. So,
Hanuman is the worshipper of the Lord.
friend of the Lord.
Sorry?
Friend of the Lord. Worshipper and lover is the same thing in spiritual life, isn't it? You worship him, you love him, it's all used synonymously.
Love and worship are the same.
I mean, if you're looking at it from a bhakti perspective.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jay?
Namaste, Janki ji. I am confused about this ego. I understand ego to be I identify myself with something. I am so and so. I am like this. How is it to do with the and honor and dishonor is I understand it to be affecting my ego. Suppose when I am hurt, my ego is hurt. That means I am dishonored. So when my ego is uplifted, if someone praises me, so that means my identifications are all praised. That means I consider it to be an honor. So how is it linked to the intellect? Intellect is supposed to be the faculty which discerns, which discriminates, which is right, which is wrong, which is permanent, which is impermanent, which is high priority, which is low priority. So I am confused. This ego is where? Whether ego is a part of mind or part of intellect? I don't understand, Janki ji.
So now when you are studying a subject, we tend to jargonize a bit. We jargonize it so that everybody in the class at least is using the same word to mean the same thing. So that we can talk to each other. Otherwise, we'll all be talking at counter purposes. So now in Vedanta, at least in these classes, here is how all these words are defined. Mind. Mind is our feelings, our likes and dislikes, our emotions, our whims and fancies, the entire irrational side of our personality is the mind. Intellect is discrimination, reason, judgment, analysis. Okay. This is intellect. And ego is that which says these feelings are mine, or this decision, this discrimination is mine. That which attributes all this to myself is known as the ego. All three are a classification of thoughts. I don't know why you put Momita over here, Omkar, or Mahesh, whoever is handling it. Let me make it gallery. Okay, so when we have when we call these emotions as mine, or when we call this thinking as mine, that aspect is the ego. All three are classifications of thought. Now, normally we forget about the ego and classify as mind and intellect. But when we come to the specific attribution to self, then the question of ego comes in. Okay. Now you're saying, why can we not say that the ego is affected by these two things? In normal English and outside world, that's normal. I mean, that's how we talk. When we want to say somebody is very arrogant, we say he's very egoistical. But that's the English usage. It's not our usage. I mean, it's not philosophical usage, the way we are using it here. So in our context, another's assessment of me comes under intellect, because it's somebody's assessment, it's somebody's discrimination. And I'm objecting to your discrimination. I'm saying that you think me so low, but actually I'm so high. Or you think me so high and I'm actually so low, whichever one. So that's my intellect responding to my discrimination, responding to your discrimination. Up to this point is also fine. Then the mind gets involved. Mind says, how can you put me so high? Or how can you put me so low? Or how wonderful you're putting me so high. This is how the mind is getting involved. Okay, so all this involvement is always the mind. But for what is it getting involved? In this case, it's getting involved in the discrimination, mine versus yours. Okay, so ego in the normal, English sense, or how we use it outside, don't bring that here. Because see, over here, when we say ego, it is not just about, being arrogant. Even if you have inferiority complex, philosophically, that's ego. If you think you're not good enough, that's egoistical. Or if you think you're too good, that's also egoistic.
I don't know. I'm not able to put it in words, madam. Actually, I think that is the out of all those problems, like problems with the body, problems with the man, and problems with the intellect. So that honor, I understand that to be sukshma, ati sukshma, relatively ati subtle, is that.
You're welcome to use Hindi words. Everybody here doesn't understand them, and Joyce is almost understands everything. So I'll translate for us. So please feel free to use the language you want.
Madam. Mano buddhi chitta hankara, antakarana. So in this, we have broadly divided them into man and buddhi. Intellect means buddhi na, madam, buddhi. So now I have got that memory bank, where I have got physical memories and psychological memories. And I have got this discriminating faculty, which determines the direction of my life. Whatever I am deciding and going ahead, that is dependent directly on my intellect, I assume. So now, how the intellect getting hurt? How if my intellect is perfect, then I should know that it happens that I am not honored everywhere. I am not dishonored also everywhere. It just comes and goes. So that I have to perceive through my faculty called intellect only. So now, how the intellect means, I think maybe I'm getting caught into the jargon, but basically, honor and dishonor belong to intellect. So this point I am trying to assimilate. Like I was thinking, mano buddhi chitta hankara. In this, buddhi is defined separately, chitta is defined separately, ahankara is defined separately. So this honor and dishonor, I was thinking it is always to do with that ahankara, that ego.
That's what you said first time. Obviously, the explanation didn't work. So now let me think of another way of saying the same thing. Mukesh Bajaria, have you got it? Is everybody having this problem? I don't know how else to explain this.
I got confused now.
Now I got confused again. Okay. Okay, so suppose I say, I want to eat food. What kind of desire is this? Physical, mental, intellectual?
Physical.
Right. Suppose I say, I want you to love me. What kind of desire is this?
Emotional.
Emotion. Suppose I say, I want to learn chess. What kind of desire is this?
Intellectual.
Intellectual. So far, so good. Now, all desires are from
Mind.
mind. Then how are you saying physical, mental, intellectual when I ask you?
The satisfaction we derive from the desire.
That J has to answer.
Correct? Got it? It's that simple. All desires are from the mind. But what is the mind interested in? Physical or emotional or intellectual?
But when it comes to eating, madam, if it is a regular 3 meals at that point of time, it is physical need. And with desire we eat. Like I want to eat chat, I want to eat the snacks, spicy food, sweet food. So that comes to which part of
Physical, whether you're eating your regular meal or
Hmm.
whether you're eating some chaat and whatnot in the other, both of it is desire.
Janki, madam, to understand again definition of desire, I am not satisfied with what I have got now. I feel that I am not fulfilled or I am not full
That's right.
with what I have got with me now presently. If I get that, then I will be full. Then I will be fulfilled.
That is not the definition of desire. What is the definition of desire? Okay, here, there is this little bit of overlap over here. When I'm using desire, I could use it as an umbrella term, or I could use it as a specific term. But don't go into all that. Just use common sense and say that, is it possible for me to have a physical desire? Yes or no?
Certainly.
Yes. Physical desire is possible.
Is it possible for me to have an emotional desire?
Sorry to interrupt, madam. I have a physical desire, simple like rasgulla. I am hungry. I am dying with hunger. I am famishing. Now I don't mind whatever is given to me. I just gulp it so that I am alive. Whereas my stomach is full. I am not having any physical need. But my mind says, oh, now it is rainy season. Now if someone gives me masala vada or some tea. So this particular thing, I consider it as related to my physical dimension, but my mind is playing game with me. So it is not a need. It is a greed. I can call it as a greed or something at the physical level.
So this is all layman's way of putting it. It's not incorrect, but when now you are studying the subject, right? So obviously it will be a lot more specific. In Vedanta, need and greed and everything is simply not differentiated. It is all desire. Okay, like at what level will you say it is greed? Who will determine it is greed? See, when we talk at the party, we can say things, but when we talk as a subject, everything will have to be defined. Therefore, any need you have, whatever that need is, it is desire. Justified need, unjustified need, too much need, too little need, all of it desire. One term for everything. Okay? And what is a desire? Shilpa, I haven't seen you for a long time, means you haven't put on your video for a long time. Correct, Shilpa. What is a desire? It's an indiscriminate thought flow. Indiscriminate thought flow. When your thoughts flow indiscriminately, means without the intellect, this is called desire. Just because you're hungry doesn't mean you have to have an indiscriminate thought flow. In other words, suppose I'm very, very hungry. Okay, I haven't eaten for 2 days. And you call me to your house for a meal. I'm very hungry. I have to eat because it's a bodily demand. You have called me to your house to eat. So how should I do? I should push you all aside and just quickly eat everything? No, right? Whether or not it is a genuine thing, I still have to deal with the problem. A person may have a very genuine need of anything. It could be money, it could be, suppose he needs money, very genuinely needs money. So will you say, okay, now take to crime? Genuine need or not genuine need is only part of the question. The second part of the question is, how are you dealing with that need? Right? So that's the difference between a gourmet and a greedy person. The gourmet also has the need to eat, but there is a certain decorum in that whole thing. And lout also has a need to eat, but there is no decorum in that thing. And so it's not about whether the need was genuine or not. It is how are you conducting yourself. It is also, I mean, when intellect discriminates, there are many things that discriminate. All this is involved. But don't go on another point. Stick on your original point. Your original point is you're not able to understand how honor and dishonor is of the intellect. And if it is of the intellect, then why do you call, then how is it affecting you? How is the mind involved? So all desires are from the mind. However, the mind can have desires for physical objects, for emotional objects, and for intellectual objects. Just like you all told me, right? I say I want to eat food. What kind of desire it? It's physical desire. I want to go to sleep. What kind of a desire? It's physical desire. But desire itself is mind. The mind has three types of desires because we have three equipments. It can have physical desires or emotional desires or intellectual. That's because we have three types of equipments. So we have desires associated.
Madam, problem for me is generally I get the feeling desire means villain. Generally, desire means bad thing because you have given me the definition that God plus desires is equal to man.
Okay, stop here. You're calling it the villain. The desire for enlightenment is a villain. The desire to serve your country is a villain. The desire to take care of your children is a villain. Everything's a desire, no? You can't just label it as a villain. It is a villain, you're right, but from the perspective of the self. From the perspective of the self, the desire for enlightenment is a villain. Because the desire for enlightenment, suppose you have only one desire, and the desire is to reach the Lord. Only one desire. Now that desire is a villain. Because
You have to drop it.
Because you can't reach it as long as you have the desire. Very good, Bharat. Suppose I want to sleep. Okay, I have a desire to sleep. I put my head on the pillow. Now, which is my biggest villain? The desire to sleep. Because the more I have the desire to sleep, the less I'm going to sleep. Okay. However,
similarly, intellect also, madam. Intellect also, I can. There's like the way now you have told me, I should not consider desire as a villain. Oh,
I didn't say that. I said from which perspective. As of now, the desire for enlightenment is our greatest gift. Those who have that gift are truly blessed. But from the point of view of the Lord, from the point of view of the self, that desire itself is a villain. So desire is a villain or not a villain is from where are you speaking? From which perspective are you speaking?
Madam, correct, madam. Intellect, I generally consider it as the one hero. Means intellect is supposed to be the only one which helps me in my life. In fact, trying to refine me, listening to you, madam, and trying to understand and implement it, this karma yoga, all this, whatever is there, I feel that that is because of my intellect. So I always feel that intellect is one which is supreme out of this body-mind intellect complex. Intellect is supposed to be the hero or the so now that intellect is causing this problem for me in terms of honor, dishonor, and provoking my mind to feel hurt or elated, and that my intellect is causing this problem for me. If honor and dishonor belong to intellect, then intellect is supposed to understand that honor and dishonor are very aware.
You're not getting it. What you're saying is correct. What you're saying is right. But that's not what is being said. Look at what Momita has said. She said, can we say that honor is an intellectual object, not of the intellect? Can you, does this wording help? An intellectual object, not of the intellect. Intellect will always use reason. But we're talking about the desire for it. Okay, is that helpful? Okay, thank you, Mamita. Right, anything else? Okay, Shilpa, anything else? All are clear so far? Where is Uttara? Uttara, do you think it will help if we did a diagram? Or you all are clear and I shouldn't touch it anymore? Okay, Mamita, we'll call it 007, the hero.
Can we have a diagram, please, Dr. Janki?
I wish I could have figured out how this thing is done. Let me do whiteboard and see. Oh, host disabled participant whiteboarding. Who is host today? Mahesh, Omkar. Can you? Oh, Deepraj, you are host. Okay. So can you please enable participant whiteboarding? Let me check whether it can be done. I am co-host, okay. Loading your whiteboard. Eesh, what is all this? Whiteboard. Come on, can you all see what's on my screen or not? Ah, okay. Let me use this.
Mahesh, do we have to remove the spotlight from Janki ji for the screen to be shown?
Mahesh is still here. Okay, let me see. Let me try.
I don't think so, but I'm not on my PC, so I can't really check.
All right, so let me just do this. I'm going to draw a diagram here. Body, mind, intellect. Now, can you all see this? How's this? Can you see it? All right, so we have the body, mind, intellect, right? Now the mind has three types of desires: physical, mental, intellectual. Is that clear? Does that help? Okay, so, yeah, okay. Meera, can we say honor and dishonor is a desire but intellect driven? No, it's not intellect driven. Intellect driven, then we come, that's exactly what Jay's problem is. He's saying if it's intellect driven, it should have been a good thing, but we already know it's a bad thing. So we can't say it's intellect driven, it's pertaining to the intellect.
Okay, pertaining.
Pertaining to the
Okay.
Madam, diagram, please. Once. I forgot the last. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, because see, we have three equipments.
Correct, ma'am.
Okay, and the mind has all desires, but the desires can be of three types. The desires can pertain to the body, pertain to the mind, or pertain to the intellect. Okay, we had a lot of trouble over this, no, today? Is it clear now? Okay, let's see.
Not an easy subject. What's your text time? To percolate.
Maybe bad teacher, who knows?
No, teachers good. The students are bad.
I'm not seeing any thumbs up from anyone. Where is all your thumbs up? Or have you all gone to sleep? Honey, how are you doing? Kalyan, Akhila, okay, thank you. Meera. Where are the rest of you? Uttara, okay. Clear, right, so far? Okay. This verse has been very difficult because we never go beyond it. Okay, so he is same in, okay, thank you. Well, those who are not giving me a thumbs up, at least give a thumbs down so that I know that it is not understood. Okay, something you'll do up or down. All right. So if more or less I feel everybody is okay. Monica, are you okay? Honey, are you okay? Thank you, Surekha. Who else is here? Rajni Menon. Are you new, Rajni? Oh, now, okay. Right. So now where were we? All right. So why is he the same with all of these? Is because
his focus is on something higher.
His desire is elsewhere. You can only be affected by your desire being there. If your desire is not there, how on earth will you be affected? So his desire is elsewhere. What is Bhakta? His one desire is have to get to the Lord. What is a Jnani? His one desire is have to get to the truth. Right? What is a Karmi? His one desire is the whole world must be benefited by whatever I do. This is Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Right? So now we are doing Bhakti. It's all three are exactly the same. There's no difference. It's just in how they are talking about what they want to do. It's all in principle, it all works out to the same. So the desire is for something else, and hence this doesn't matter. This is from his level. Now you may say, and you rightly say, so main kya karu? He is a very great soul. And he has only desire for realization and he is not getting affected. But I'm not like that. And so I have to get affected. And then why am I studying all this? Because I'm not there. And now I'm getting affected, then double trouble for me because I'm getting affected. And then I think, look, I'm so bad, I'm getting affected. So I've got double trouble. So why am I even studying this? Why we are studying this is so that A, we understand where we have to reach, and B, it's also useful to us where we are, how we are. Because just think about this, the same principle that keeps the bhakta protected from this can be the same principle that keeps us protected. If I move my attention from my body, mind, intellect in any way to anything higher, I will be protected. Now, how will I be protected in exactly the same way? Exactly the same protection I will get. Take a soldier. He has to go to fight. Okay? Now, he must be frightened also, no? What makes him go? Think about this. How is his fear being overridden?
Country.
Huh?
Country.
By the love of the country. It may be a person who's going to an interview. He may be also frightened. I'm going to an interview. Then what will make him get over his fear and go for that interview? Think about it. Suppose this guy has a starving child at home. That thought of that child will override the fear of that interview. So to the extent my mind just moves away from me, I feel there's something useful I'm doing somehow, somewhere, somehow. I will override the dishonor. I will override the fear. I will override the grief. I will do this. That's called intellect becoming stronger. I'm overriding this. I'm overriding my own tamas because I know that I have to get this done. Like Joyce was telling us, she went to Syria. Now suppose I tell you, go to Syria. You say, Arey Bapre, I don't want to go to Syria. Now why did she go to Syria? There was an overriding thing. Surekha also, he went off to Syria. Now who is going to Syria nowadays? Only those people who want to help somebody there. Otherwise, why on earth will they go? Now you and I, suppose we are planning a holiday with our family. Are we planning to go to Syria? Imagine Jyoti saying to her husband, oh, I think Syria is a good place. Let's go to Syria this summer, this winter. Did she ever do that? No, never. Go to Canada. No, not Canada. Canada is forbidden to us now. We'll go to US, we'll go to Europe, we'll go to whatever. He'll go and see the animals in Africa. But not Syria. Which of us will want to go to Palestine now, or Israel for the moment, or even Ukraine, such a beautiful country? Are we going to Ukraine? So what will make us override that fear? When the war started in Ukraine, our people went over there and brought everybody out, remember? Now, these guys were not frightened. They were entering war, unnecessarily entering war territory. Then what made them go? So, how does this benefit us to know this? Because the same principle is still useful to us. Whatever negativity I have, whatever resistance, whatever thing, if I am dedicated to something, anything beyond myself, I will ride over all this, whether it's friend or foe, whether it's honor or dishonor, it's heat or cold, it's joy and sorrow, you will simply ride. Now you all are all getting involved in crowdfunding. How many problems you will have? You will ride over it to the extent that you care. To the extent you don't care, then the grief is more important, or the dishonor is more important, or something else is more important. Okay? Otherwise, I know this has to be done, so I'm doing it. You know, that rides over. Momita. The truth makes sense as in it obviously is something we should align with. The Bhakta's ideal seems unreasonable belief in a fantasy as against the truth or reality. This is what appears to you, not to him. As real as truth appears to you, that real, his ideal appears to him. You can't tell a bhakta that you follow truth. He'll say, you're so dry. What truth? You should go to the Lord. So it doesn't matter. It all represents the same thing. You call it truth, you call it Lord, you call it welfare of all beings. It's all exactly the same thing because all three are unknown to us.
Right, the truth is unknown to us, but logically we can see that, of course, the truth is all that prevails. And it is in my best interest to know what it is. Therefore, I'm striving towards it.
Yeah.
But the bhakta's belief is unfounded in reason. I mean, there's no reason.
But why should there be reason? He loves the Lord, and that's enough for him. He is not an intellectual. He's not looking for reason. We cannot tell non-intellectuals, you please find a reason. They will tell you, go talk to a bhakta. He will tell you what you're talking is all nonsense. All dry nonsense, truth and all. There's no heart in you. You should love the Lord.
But what do you love? I mean, you don't know this thing that you claim to love.
So doesn't it, before Anshul was born, did you not love him? You didn't know him, you hadn't met him, you hadn't been formally introduced. What are you loving him for? You loved him before he was born. Maybe you loved him before he was conceived also. So it doesn't mean. No, didn't you hear in story? The stories in the past. There was what is Nal Damayanti and all. Then the swan goes and tells Damayanti that there is this null and so wonderful. You know all the stories. All along. You know, when we were children, they told us these stories. Thought of this great hero who you love. She hasn't met him. She knows nothing about him. She doesn't even know the messenger is telling her the truth, but she loves him. Don't be so confused. Mahesh has an answer for you. Like your faith in truth, the bhakta has in the Lord. You feel truth will help you, bhakta feels Lord will help him.
So the unreason is his reason.
The truth is also unknown to us, as unknown as the Lord is to him. We don't know what the truth is. We have this feeling that there is a reality that we don't know. If somebody were to tell you, prove what you're saying. the atheists will catch hold of you and try to make you prove it. You will also stumble. For a jnani, truth is beyond reason. Correct. It's all beyond our conception, whatever that ultimate is. What is the ultimate? But we know this much, that every step we seem to take in the journey forward seems to be miraculous. This much we can tell, because this you experience.
But it's not really miraculous, because the truth, as we conceive of truth, it obviously reigns. What we know is that we have a limited capacity to perceive it. That is reasonable.
Yeah, that is okay. But so we don't know what is the ultimate thing, right? It's an X as far as we are concerned. And the heart in us will love that X. And so many jnanis also had an idol, because that idol itself represents that X, like Ganesha, large head, large ears. It's representing, you're hearing a lot, you're thinking a lot. It's representative. Or Shiva, he's got Ganges flowing out of his locks. He has captured the Ganges in his locks. That means spiritual knowledge, the ultimate, it's all held there, that ultimate answer. He is all, whatever. All these gods are blue, representing the infinite. So very very within our jnani's reason as well, because that's why you say it's allegorical, because you can understand the allegory, in which case you love the image. So this, coming back to this verse, he is not affected by these things because his desire is for something else. Similarly, we will not be affected when our desire is for something higher, nobler, greater. Whatever your reasons are, you're able to put them, whatever your fears and anxieties and everything, you put it all aside when you have to work for something which according to you is a nobler thing, greater thing. But you have to identify with it, of course. So that's what he's then saying. He's explaining this by saying entirely free from attachment. Entirely free from attachment means attachment to the lower, to attachment to any of these pairs of opposites that he has discussed. Because his mind attachment is thought flow, his thought flow is constantly towards the higher. Okay, let us start verse 19. Tulyanindastutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketa stiramatihi bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Tulyanindastutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketa stiramatihi bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Tulya ninda stuti. Same in ninda and stuti, in praise and in censure. Mauni. Mauni means silent. Many people practice being mauni, meaning practice just keeping quiet. That's not the mauni he's talking about. Mauni is the absence of reaction to the happenings of this world. There's no reaction on it. There's nothing to say. Nothing. If somebody says to you, you know, the IPL is starting. Okay, is that so? Somebody says to you, do you know Shah Rukh Khan's new movie is coming out? Okay, is that so? Like almost mera na lena na dena. Somebody says to you, do you know what that lady was talking about you? She said, a very stupid person, a very greedy person. Is that so? No reaction. Really no reaction. The person said that you are the best, most noble person that she has ever met. Is that so? No reaction. Absolutely no reaction. That is the state of the bhakta. And there's no reaction because there's no interest. When there's an interest, there's a reaction. Oh, really? What did she say about me? Did she really talk like that? After all I've done for her. Is this how to talk? You should talk. Reaction. Just no reaction. Someone tells you, no, they declared you the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. You say, is that so? Okay, so मैं क्या करूं? What am I supposed to do with that piece of information? No reaction. That is the state of a morning. Okay, so that's it for today. I think I will see you all again this evening, isn't it?